If you are not familiar with Miss Molly Martens, she is the widow, I guess you would say, of one Jason Corbett. Open image. There we go. So Molly, this is Molly here. This is Miss Molly. Let me just zoom in here. She married an Irishman. She was his au pair. He was a grieving widower himself at the time. And she was his au pair, and then they got together. The Netflix special just came out. It's called A Deadly American Marriage. And it is something else. It is something else. Basically, she and her father killed him. Brutally killed him. She maintains that it was self-defense, that he was abusing her. He can't talk for himself, right? But there's a paper trail showing that she was trying to push him to let her adopt the kids, trying to get full custody of the kids by literally tapping the house, putting recording devices all over the house to try to catch him being abusive or, saying things that might get the kids taken away from him and given to her. They got married in Ireland, and then they moved to America away from his whole family. And, he stalled letting her adopt the kids. And eventually she and her father killed him, with a brick, a baseball bat and a brick in his room. It's a crazy story, and you should go watch it. I think the craziest part is that Molly and her dad are not in jail. They got a couple years in prison. That's it. I think just for maybe involuntary manslaughter or manslaughter. Let me check. Do they have a wiki? Yeah, they do. Okay. His wife and father-in-law were found guilty of second-degree murder. Okay. However, their convictions were later reversed by a court of appeals. And then they accept a plea bargain, and they were released after 7 years. Yeah, so of course things got messed up during the trial. Things were not discussed during the trial that should have been. So I do think there was grounds for an appeal. So I get that. Reason number 9999 why I stay single and unmarried. Listen, it is. If you marry the wrong person, it can be dangerous. It can literally be dangerous. But the story's just heartbreaking, and it's happening now, right? They were released in 2024. So this documentary is in the middle of it. It's not people telling a story of things that happened 20, 30 years ago. You have the kids on camera talking. Now they're adults, right? Young adults, just crying. You get video of them actually going to the courthouse to give their statements. And I cried multiple times during it. I definitely recommend watching it. It was very interesting, also very heartbreaking. There was, hey, Crystal! There was, yeah, there's so much to it. And then there's also the family in Ireland. It seems to me that Molly thought that she was going to get the kids if he died. But something in his soul told him not to let her adopt those children, and so she didn't have any legal right to them. So the kids went back to Ireland, and just seeing their rehabilitation made me cry. I cried when they were in the car. Yeah, me too. I've dated a few unhinged women. Same. Hey, Crystal. Yeah, so the first thing that came to mind for me when it came to Molly when I was watching this, I was thinking about the fact that a lot of times when women talk about toxic masculinity, a lot of men are like, oh, well, what about toxic femininity, right? And to them, that's like being a hardcore feminist and like hating men, right? Which isn't really true. To me, Molly is a case of toxic femininity. What I mean by that, for toxic masculinity, you can see the way the patriarchy has poisoned the men's brains, right? They feel like they need to be in control. They need to be like emotionless and strong and controlling and, big and strong, like all these like stupid archetypes, right? Femininity has those toxic archetypes too. And she is like the living embodiment of them. This like obsessive need to have children, even if they're somebody else's children. Like the need to have the wedding, the need to have like that perfect feminine life, and your whole identity being wrapped up in having children. To me, that is Molly to a T. It made her manipulative. And I think that she obviously, to me, had some sort of personality disorder going on as well. That was just like enabled by her parents, right? Did someone just message? I can't see anything. Yipes, those broads are scary. Yeah. Yeah, right. So, I see. I'm only seeing top chat right now. I'm sorry, everybody. There we go. Now I see everybody. Hi. Okay, so yeah, I think that Molly, I mean, if you watch it, you can see like she is just delusional. She keeps saying, my kids, my kids, my kids. Like she was in her early 20s when they got together. I think that, I mean, there's something deeply wrong with her. Obviously, she allegedly helped murder her husband, right? But yeah, to me, that this was a case of severe toxic femininity. Playing the victim, especially like toxic white femininity, playing the victim, blaming other people, antagonizing, and then trying to like frame people. To me, that's how it is. I did a poll of people who thought she was a villain or a victim. Most people thought she was a villain. There were people, though, that thought that maybe Jason was being abusive. Based on the recordings that Molly found relevant enough to share with her attorneys, it didn't sound like it. It sounded like he was over her bullshit on those recordings. He was like, get away from my children. Don't tell my children to go away when I'm talking to them. Like, to me, he was talking to her like he didn't love her and he didn't know her, or like he knew that she was trying to mess with him, So, very, very sad. It ends on a good note. The kids, I mean, you'll watch it. I mean, it ends up okay, except for, of course, poor Jason is dead. And also his first wife had passed away when the kids were very, very, very young. And so it's just like, it's so heartbreaking. The whole thing is so heartbreaking. And I just think Molly and her dad are fucking assholes. Pieces of shit. Narcissistic for sure. She's a nut roll who needs 2 shrinks and an analyst. Minimum. Yeah, the way she talked about the kids was bone chilling. And yeah, the way she would manipulate the kids and like favor one kid over the other. It's all like classic abuse. In the recordings, her voice is overly calm and controlled. Right. Like she is very clearly like, I'm like, okay, well, what happened before you started recording? Because to me, it really smacks of she antagonized him and then played it cool after hitting record, so he sounded like he was attacking her. And these recording devices were like all part of a master plan to get custody of the kids. And then I guess she just decided, well, maybe I'll just kill him instead. Okay, so the update is related to the recording devices. I just saw this today when I was putting this together. Daughter of Jason Corbett believes her father's murder was recorded on a listening device. These listening devices were all over the house. 18-year-old Sarah Corbett Lynch said that Molly Martens, who was convicted of killing her father, admitted that there was a recording device in the room where he was killed. Where's the footage, Molly? Okay, let's see. The daughter of Irishman... Sorry, there are so many ads on this stupid news site. The daughter of Irishman Jason Corbett, who was killed in 2015, believes a recording device captured his murder. Sarah Corbett Lynch, now 18, was just 8 years old when her father was killed. So awful. And the kids were in the house in a brutal assault by her stepmother, Molly Martens, and her step-grandfather, Thomas Martens. The pair served 4 years and 3 months for voluntary manslaughter and were released last year. The killing of the Limerick father of two made international headlines, blah, blah, blah. In a recent interview with the Indo Daily podcast, Sarah Corbett Lynch said Molly Martens confirmed a device had been put on her nightstand in the new documentary. That's true. So according to Sarah, this corroborates something that she has said for years and years about the presence of the device in the room where her father was killed. According to her brother, Jack, he saw the device in a Ziploc bag in the days after his father's murder. Sarah said Jack said it in his victim impact statement that he saw a recording device in a Ziploc baggie in Bobby Martens' house a few days after my dad was killed. And Molly says on Netflix she corroborates that there was a recording device in their bedroom on her nightstand. That's not a long enough prison sentence at all. 100% it's not. It was overturned because there was... they appealed it. And then there was a plea bargain. It's so stupid. I mean, it's insane that she's walking free. And a lot of the root of it, I think... She had a miscarriage early with Jason, I believe, and I think that maybe that just really drove her off the deep end. What is so disturbing is also the ex-FBI agent dad. Thank you. Yes, that is another piece of it, that the ex-FBI agent has been looped in to the crime, and he's sitting there thinking we're supposed to take him seriously. It's her dad. He knows how to do an interrogation. He knows how to get through an interrogation. Okay, let's see. But, that just begs the question, where is that recording device? Now, in the documentary, they talk about the recording devices being triggered by voice. Like, they were set to just, flip on. So that would be interesting if we could see that, but I don't think FBI father would have missed that. I'm sure that I would think that they deleted the data on that. Also, I'm loving the calm meditative music behind you talking about this guy's murder. Listen, talking about this is still, to me, less stressful than talking politics. And we are going to do origami after this. So I'm just setting the tone. Okay, so where is the recording device? And Sarah believes that his murder was recorded. And I also believe that it was premeditated. There's so much evidence that points to premeditation, but that's not the conviction that they have. That would be, I guess, first-degree murder. I agree with her. Like, when Molly's father is being interviewed, and he's like, "Oh, he had her in front of him, and he had his arm around her neck, and he's like, I'm gonna kill her." Like, that's straight out of a movie. That never happens. And also, let me tell you this about people who are abusive. They're not doing that shit in front of the victim's parents. That makes no sense. It makes no fucking sense. I mean, dude would have to be blackout drunk, and he did not. I don't think he had alcohol in his system. But he did have benzos, right? To step out of his If he was that abusive, he was also very manipulative. And also people who are abusive are like, they have a very brittle self-esteem and they need everyone to like them, right? So it would take a lot for him to give up that mask in front of her family. I just don't believe it. I don't believe that he would be on the warpath to kill her with her parents sleeping downstairs. I definitely think it was premeditated. PJ says, Alexa was introduced in 2014, so it's possible the voice activated part plausible. Yeah, totally. I think it's definitely possible. I just wonder. I wonder if she was really that smart. Or did she lie and say that? So it seems like it's picking up the beginning of conversations, but it's not. Yeah, the fact that the parents were sleeping in the house and the mom went back to bed, girl, the grandma part of it makes no fucking sense. Let me tell you something right now. I'm not a mom, but if someone was beating up, if my niece or nephew's partner was beating them up in the house I was in, I would be there with the bat. To think that a mother would just like hear her daughter screaming and do nothing makes no sense. And it's also very interesting that she's not in this documentary. I have a feeling that I don't know, but I wonder if she used spousal privilege to avoid having to talk. Molly's mother. What do we got? Anything? Mother. Martens had secretly told the two children that Jason had killed their mother as well. Really cool. I'm just seeing if they had anything about her mom. It's just so interesting that she's completely left out of the conversation. Fall back to sleep. Yeah, like, that makes no sense. All right, let's see what else is in this article. Molly claimed that Jason had been violent and abusive towards her, which led her to place the secret recording devices around their home in the hopes of building a case against him. She had also hoped his arrest would allow her full custody of the children. I think that last part is absolutely true. I think she was definitely trying to get him arrested so she could get full custody, even though she had not adopted them. I think this is backwards. I think in the hopes of building a case against him, she placed secret recording devices, or in the hopes of getting full custody of the children, that is why she placed the recording devices around the house, not because he was violent and abusive. Like I said, in those recording devices, he does not sound violent or abusive. He sounds like he does not trust her. He sounds like he's over her shit. And I have a feeling he wanted to go back to Ireland. And I think that was said in the documentary. Like that he was thinking about leaving her and going back to Ireland. And that would have been taking the children away from her kids. And she fucking snapped and had to do something rash. The fact that she was able to rope her father into this whole thing is beyond me. But what sucks is that we will never know the full truth. Sarah and Jack admit they were coached by Molly Martens in the days after their father's death, which is right on the tapes. Like, they really should have let all of this come out in the first trial. If so, I think that they would be in jail for life. But because they didn't really deconstruct the recordings or the interviews with the kids as much about the abuse, it left room open for an appeal. Because in the recording, the interviewer asks, I think Jack asks, or maybe both of them asks, oh, well, who told you that? And they both say Molly. Like, it's right there. Sarah wants to use her voice to tell the truth. She published a book, A Time for Truth, earlier this year, and said she agreed to the documentary because I wanted to tell the truth about my dad, and I wanted to tell the truth about the story and what truly happened inside of our home. I want to read that book. It's so crazy to me that she did the documentary with her dad. Molly's parents are still married and live a quiet life, apparently. It is bananas. I cannot believe that they were in this documentary. But I think their egos are so big that they felt like they needed to tell their side. It's just all so stupid. The only time she really cries in the whole documentary is when she's talking about losing the kids. Like, she is so, like, hyper fixated on that. It's insane. So, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. I mean, it was very well done, but very sad. And I'm glad the kids are where they are and thriving. Gross people with huge egos, 100%.